Hi, welcome to this tutorial on programming buttons. For this tutorial, we're going to create a new project within Flash CS6. We're going to select ActionScript 2.0, and you'll see the stage in the middle of the screen, and you have your timeline at the bottom, and again, your properties window and your toolbar. So we're going to get started with programming 3 buttons for this tutorial. And what I want you to do first is create a buttons layer. You can create buttons on separate layers, but actually, why don't we do that? So we're going to create layer 1, button 1, create a second button layer, and we'll create a third button layer. And as you see, the buttons, they're all listed in frame 1 here. The next thing we're going to do is actually take the rectangle tool, and we're going to create different color buttons. So the first button in layer 1, button 1, will be blue. We'll select the second button layer and change our color and maybe make it red. And we'll select the third layer, which is button 3, and maybe this one we can make it green. And any size, it doesn't really matter. So here are our 3 buttons. We quickly drew just actually objects. So now we actually have to convert each individual object to a button symbol. So we click the first button or object, convert symbol to, we're going to select button. We're going to call this, we can call this blue button, or why don't we call this button 1. Hit OK. We'll right click on the second button, the red button, which is layer 2, convert it to symbol, and make sure it's a button type, and we'll call this button 2. And the last button, the green button, we'll right click, convert to symbol, and make sure it's a button type, and we'll call this button 3. So now that we have our buttons, we're actually going to have some content display up here when we click each button. Now we're going to be using ActionScript now, so we're going to be using ActionScript 2.0 to actually program these buttons, and then we're going to have content actually show up. So what I want you to do is create a fourth layer and name it content. And there's many ways of doing this, but this is one way we're going to actually do it. So we're going to go to content layer frame 5, and we're going to insert a keyframe. And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go to content layer 10, or frame 10, and insert a keyframe there. And then I'm going to go to content layer, and in frame 15, add a keyframe. And what I'm going to do is we're going to just draw random things, or maybe I'll use the text tool to actually put something into these slots. See where that dot is, that's empty, that now we can fill with some content. So what I want you to do is frame 5 will be the red, or the first button, which is blue, and then we'll have frame 10 in the content layer, we'll add red content, and then in the green, for the green content, we'll go to frame 15. And this is how it's going to work. So before we do anything with the timeline, why don't we just fill in some content? So I'm going to take, my first layer was blue, and I'm going to just write some content here. I'm going to change the size over here to my text, and I'm just going to write button 1 content. You can do anything you like. I'll put it up here. And now I'm going to go to frame 10 and change the color to red, because that's what I want the red stuff, the red content to show up. So for this one, I'll write button 2 content. And now we're going to go to frame 15 of the content layer and go and add a green content. So, or sorry, button 3 content. Okay, so now that we have different content on different layers, so I have frame 5, button 1, button 2 content, frame 10, and frame 15 content there. So now what I want to do is, these are all buttons, but I want to extend them. If you notice, after I go past frame 1, I'm going to grab this little player, the red line, and actually slide it over. You'll notice that as it goes over different frames, it plays different content, but the buttons disappear. A good program should have all its buttons visible from start to finish. So for this example, for this tutorial, we're going to actually create, I'm just going to insert regular frames. Insert frame for button 3 and go to frame 15, insert a regular frame for button 2, and for button 1, right click at frame 15, insert a regular frame. So now those buttons will be visible throughout the program. Now here's our program now. I'm going to hit enter, and it basically just runs through all the content. It just starts from frame 1, sees the buttons, and as the timeline slides, it hits at frame 5, it'll hit the content for blue, and then red, and then green. So what we want to do is we want to add some stops. We want this program to stop. So if I hit Control Enter, it's actually going to now export that file into a Swift video. And this is the video that if you uploaded it to a web page or sent it to a friend, this is what would play. Or upload it to YouTube, this is what would play. But we wanted to actually have some type of function to it. We want to be able to click the button and red shows up, green shows up. So the way you do that, instead of just cycling through, you have to add some stops. And then we have to actually add some programs. So we're going to, any one of the frame 1 keyframes, I'm just going to select button 1. Just click right on frame 1. Press F9, script tab will open.